Hello again everybody, I'm the Dude5, back with another video, and today we'll be continuing our walkthrough series of LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens with Collectible Hunting Part 9. Today we're going to be wrapping up our collectible hunting on Takodana. We're going to start off by grabbing the last of the gold bricks on these little islands surrounding the map. I'm going to hop on our speeder bike and do this first little race here. Kind of weird, the checkpoints are a little glitched above the water. It almost looks like they're hovering. Alrighty, that's going to get us gold brick number 181. On to gold brick number 182. We're going to need to turn into a character that can break down cracked walls, such as FN2199. And that is gold brick number 182. Let's go ahead and transform back into Phasma real quick and open this little chest. Or crate, or whatever you want to call it. Ooh, it even gave us confetti. That's gold brick number 183. Hop back on our speeder bike and head over to the final island, the Lonely Island. Shout out to Andy Samberg and his crew. There's a couple gold bricks here. Both of them are found via force usage. So we're going to use Luke to actually reel this fishing rod in. And then he'll shake the crate to get the other gold brick over there, as you'll see in a moment. Alright, that's gold brick number 184 and 185.
Over here? I'm gonna need your help with something. Come on. Do a friend a favor, won't you?
Come out.
Let's check the map here, see if there are any more stray gold bricks. It does not look like it. From the looks of things, there's still some general missions we need to complete. And of course our first order, and so we've got 3 more general missions, 1 more race, 1 first order and 1 resistance mission, 1 scavenger mission, and 2 droid missions. So we got a little bit more to go here. So let us be on our way. Oh, there's another little BB-8 side mission here. This must be one of our general missions. Go ahead and BB-8 bum rush.
Not like the fate of the galaxy is at stake.
Another general mission completed, another gold brick obtained. Alrighty, let's go to the top portion of the map here. There's a few general missions over here. All these LEGO Star Wars Force Awakens videos leaves me wanting to watch Star Wars. Ironic, isn't that? It's funny, one of these days I'll have to sit down and watch the entire saga, prequel trilogy, then Rogue One, then the original saga, then
I am here as a representative of the respected businessman
then The Force Awakens.
He has recently secured the crash site of a star
Leading up to Episode 8, of course.
And he has need of skilled pilots to break the wreckage up into more manageably sized pieces. If you're interested, then please, this way. I assure you, you will be recompensed handsomely for this work.
Fine, I'll take on Ernkerplurt's mission to salvage some scrap. Topic in our hyperspace tunnel. This time our hyperspace tube is not sending us to Takodana, but to Jakku. So that actually makes sense. As opposed to the last video, where it sent us into hyperspace from Takodana to Takodana. Yeah, that didn't make any damn sense. Something that could have been easily avoided or cut out when the developers didn't have their heads up their asses, but that's just a minor mistake. But I mean, all in all, it's like one of those small little mistakes in an otherwise, you know, in an otherwise really fun game that really doesn't have too many mistakes in it. It's just that one little thing, that one little inconsistency that just kind of gets under your skin, and it's unnecessary and it's easily avoided. It's like the one thing that could have made it from being a completely perfect game, but then again, it's not the biggest deal in the world that happened, so it's just the little things that tend to bug me. Story of my life. Alright. We gotta destroy some Ernkerplurt ships. I feel like ships that are sent by Ernkerplurt should just be like ships with just giant murals of his face. Like these Ernkerplurt goons flying these ships. It's like if Ernkerplurt's the one trying to stop us, shouldn't the ships look a little bit more like him? Kind of like, you know, how the Stormtroopers and the Imperial Death Star Stormtroopers kind of look like, you know, Vader, in a sense. Just imagine giant Ernkerplurt faces flying around trying to kill you, saying nothing but 1/4 portion. This is the shit that runs through my brain while you're all at work. I'm kidding, I work too. I work very hard. In fact, I think I may watch Force Awakens after this. I'm in a Star Wars mood suddenly. And I still got months before Episode 8 comes out, so not a lot I can do. Probably be covering a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2 content before the release of Episode 8. We'll most definitely be covering a lot of Battlefront 2 content before Episode 8. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Battles.
The
Always battle. That battle remind you of anything? Certainly reminded me. One of the most infamous battles of all time. The Battle of Yavin. You must have heard of that. I mean, you've at least heard of the Death Star, right?
So we gotta hop in our little... This, These microfighter battles are slightly different than the other ones I've done. It's... it's a little more goofy, and, the ships aren't easily targeted or easily destroyed, so that's what makes these more of a challenge. I think this is the first time we've encountered this sort of mini game in LEGO Star Wars, and so it's just different, and it's a little clunky. So if you're not careful, you can end up getting stuck in a corner, or blown up, or BB is gonna kill the rest. Or knocked over, and just you'd have to kind of reset yourself. But so just be mindful that the camera doesn't auto-rotate behind you on these specific microfighter mini game battles. You have to rotate the camera manually and keep an eye on your targets, and you don't auto-target. So I forgot what I was originally talking about.
Of course, that led to the Battle of Hoth. You had to wrap up warm for that one, and avoid getting stepped on by an AT-AT.
We're reenacting famous Star Wars battles here, which I find hilarious.
And finally, we arrive at the Battle of Endor.
We were shooting mini AT-ATs, oh my god.
Down by teddy bears and a handful of rebels.
I'm eager to see new First Order AT-AT walkers. They're supposed to be actually a lot bigger, and I mean a lot bigger, than they were in Empire and Return of the Jedi, which I find interesting. First Order likes to try to do things a lot bigger and a lot badder than before. Just like Starkiller Base was a lot bigger than the first and even the second Death Star. I was checking to see if I had regenerating hearts on, but for some reason the regenerating hearts thing wasn't working for this. I'm not sure why, not that it matters too much. But it was still a little irritating. But yeah, I think what I'll probably do is I'll end up doing a Star Wars marathon leading up to Episode 8. Since officially Rogue One is canon now in the Star Wars universe, it's a part of the main story. It's just not a part of the main, like, trilogies and sagas.
An epic battle like those.
Alrighty, that's another general mission complete, and Goldberg number 188 obtained. Let's see here. From the looks of things, we only have one more race to complete here. We're going to go ahead and complete that final race, and then I think move on to the First Order and Resistance side missions. I like to try to do things in order on these worlds, just to kind of keep things down in my head, to know what I have to do. Try not to get too off track. One thing I do wish about these microfighters is that you'd be able to boost them for an unlimited amount of time, but like when you're on land and you try to boost these microfighters, the boost only lasts for a short amount of time. When you're in space in a ship, the boost lasts for however long you hold L2. But on land, these microfighters, the speed boost doesn't last. It only lasts for like 2 or 3 seconds, and that's a little irritating, to be perfectly honest. Because when you're creating cool and funny little microfighters for your characters to ride around in, and you give them a speed boost ability, you expect it to last, right? But it doesn't, and so this is another little thing that I think they probably could have just done differently, but, you know, you can only control so much in this world. I have to arguably say top two least favorite Star Wars characters of all time are Jar Jar Binks
I really miss Nines.
and Kylo Ren.
At least I've got his Z6 riot control baton to remember him by. See? Wait, what? Where's it gone? I bet it was that no-good pair from earlier. Go get it back for me. No, not for me. For the memory of FN 2199.
Haha. We have to retrieve FN 2199's badass stun twirly baton thing. I forget. I don't know exactly what you would call that. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting nonetheless to see a new character and new character development, especially one related to the Skywalker family. To see what he's going through, and to see what he'll do and how his character will develop, no doubt. But the thing that most people hate about him is his temper, his moody teenagerness. I mean, it's worse than... He's a whiny little brat, and his attitude ends up coming off a lot worse than Anakin's did. At least with Anakin, he underwent true hardship and turmoil, and emotionally and mentally, especially with, you know, his mother and the things he couldn't control. And he thought he was supposed to be one thing when stuff didn't start living up to his expectations, he got upset numerous times. And especially one of the things he couldn't control, he was being told things were supposed to be one way, but he's like, well, why? If I'm supposed to be all-powerful, if I'm supposed to have this power and not use it, then what's the point? And that upset him. And especially when, you know, his mother died, killed by sand people, and he got enraged and slaughtered a whole village of them. Not only that, but then, you know, when he sees the woman he loves dying with, you know, his children on the way, and he's desperate to find a way to keep that from happening, but what he doesn't realize is that because of his actions and his choices, he is the one that ultimately ends up killing her. And so the story of Anakin, albeit there are some flaws in the character development portrayed by Hayden Christensen that some people were annoyed with, it was still solid enough, real enough, and dark enough to the point where it was believable that this man, this boy growing up into a young man, growing up into a man, would walk down this path and ultimately become Vader, and ultimately, because of his choices, end up suffering so much while he was actually Vader. When he became Vader, when the path ultimately led, you know, to its end, and he became Vader. And now it's all about suffering, you know, and Yoda even said it. Pain leads to anger, or fear leads to anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. And so Vader was ultimately the ultimate dark tale of Anakin becoming this tragically angry, painful, suffering Sith Lord who was actually really very powerful and to be feared.
I've got a feeling in my bones that the First Order is going to stage another attack. After all, who'd be expecting it after you just routed them? Me! That's who. You need to go make sure they can't attack the castle again.
And the other thing about that is, so it's hard to follow up a villain and a character like Vader when most of the Star Wars franchise has been built on creating and building his character. And so when you get Kylo Ren, who's, you know, he's a blood relative of the Skywalker family, and he tries to become a Jedi, but then ends up, you know, becoming seduced to the dark side at a younger age than Anakin was. Especially with his power, you know, it's easily understandable why he was able to be seduced so early on. But the way he conducts himself, the way his attitude and everything, it's so unsavory. and I really don't like it, especially the fact that he thought killing his father, his own father, would bring him that much closer and more powerful to the dark side, when in reality it had an emotionally and mentally devastating effect on him, and it didn't make him stronger, it made him weaker, ultimately. And I think I've even talked about this before, but
after the drubbing you just gave them, a display like that deserves some kind of reward.
so ultimately that makes me being more interested in, you know, a character like Rey, you know, who's, yes, very similar to Luke, but Luke still had family technically on Tatooine. He had his aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. So at least Luke still knew somewhat of a family dynamic in his life up until he became a young adult and they were, you know, he met Obi-Wan and then they were, you know, murdered by the Empire. So at least Luke knew some sort of family dynamic, even though he didn't know his real father up until Empire. Rey was completely orphaned. She didn't know who her family was. You know, even if she would remember their faces, she was abandoned, and so she really wouldn't know for sure.
It seems that the original owners of some of our most valuable articles have come to reclaim them. If they really wanted them, then they shouldn't have let us steal them in the first place. Please, persuade them to leave peacefully.
And so, yes, there are a lot of similarities between Rey and Luke, but there are some small enough differences to make Rey a unique enough character. And the fact that she was completely orphaned, so she probably wouldn't remember her parents that well anyway, to begin with. Even if she were to discover her true lineage, we knew who Luke was right off the bat, and why he was so gifted, why he was destined to be a Jedi. And so Rey kind of came out of left field. She didn't know she had Force powers until it was revealed that she did. This outsider, this seemingly nobody who has these abilities, it was kind of a wild card and a throw out of left field that none of us were expecting, but I loved that. Because personally, when I was going into Episode 7, I was expecting Finn to rise up and become a new Jedi, because he was wielding Luke's lightsaber, and it was shown that in the trailers and in the posters and all that. And I was expecting a cool, you know, badass, you know, new Black Jedi. Not to be racist, but you know, I thought that would have been pretty cool, and maybe he would have been related to like Mace or Lando or something like that. But no, it ended up being Rey. And Finn's a really awesome character. He helps kind of aid things along. I thought it was just going to be really cool if they did like a whole Stormtrooper turned good becomes Jedi. Would have been really awesome in my opinion. But Rey ended up coming out of left field and surprising all of us, and so now I'm eager to see where their character developments go, because it looks like Rey and Kylo are on a fucking collision, pardon my language, are on some sort of collision course that's gonna come to a head, and I'm just eager to see where it goes.
A very special delivery for him from a nearby clearing. He would go himself, but he has to tend to a poorly relative. Oh, such a kind-hearted individual. I assume that in this, his hour of need, we will happily oblige him, won't we?
So we're on a droid translation mission here. But yeah, just from the looks of things and the way Kylo conducted himself at the end of Episode 7 and now going into Episode 8, it's like he wants vengeance that the girl, he didn't expect to best him in battle, but she did. And now he wants to know why, and he wants another chance to prove himself and to defeat her, and he's still just this, you know, pent-up, angsty, little, emotional teenage tyrant who wants to play Vader, but he's incapable because, one, he didn't undergo exactly what Vader went through in order to become who Vader was and how powerful he was. Kylo may have some Force skills that Vader either never had or never displayed, but still, there's that fundamental flaw in Kylo's character that he's trying to be Vader, and it's not working out for him, and Snoke is ultimately just using him, and Kylo's so blinded by inconsolable rage, frustration, and macho, like macho just dude rage, and like being bested by Rey. I'm trying to think of the word for it. I can't. But he's too blinded by all those things to see what's really going on, and even blinded, too blinded by his own mistakes and too blind to see the error of his ways, even. So it's like he's not seeing clearly. He's just a blind baby swinging a lightsaber, wanting to defeat his enemy, and it's ultimately probably going to be his downfall. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. He's a little bit more. He's a formidable adversary in his own way. He's not as formidable as Vader, not nearly as formidable as Vader, but he does have this air about him that you really don't want to mess with.
This kindly resistance sympathizer tells me that Kanji Club have information which could help us in our
Vizine
struggle
Natal is
against
not
the
a
First
resistance
Order.
sympathizer. She is a
If we can meet with Kanji Club, she is
world-class
prepared to broker a
double-crossing
deal for the data.
alien.
You wish to know if they have told anyone else about the weakness in the First Order's defenses?
Lu cuma bisa dapetin informasinya hanya dari kami.
We are very lucky indeed. It appears that Kanji Club are the only ones who know of the First Order's critical weakness.
Hoi, kita diserang. Hancurin mereka semua.
My, we have been tricked. It appears she wanted to eradicate all traces of that information. Do you know, I don't think she was a resistance sympathizer at all.
Gonna get us gold brick number 194. And from the looks of things, we have 100% completed Takodana. Alright. That is another world down. Now, the reason why it doesn't say 100% completion on these planets is because we still have to 100% the DLC missions, but we have done all the gold bricks, carbonite bricks, and side missions on this planet. And so even though by the time we actually 100% all the planets, technically it still won't show a full 100% completion until we 100% all the DLC levels. And so that is going to do it for this episode, guys. We finished Takodana, and we're going to move on to Starkiller Base next in the next episode, and that's going to be quite a lengthy endeavor. It's going to be 4 videos long because Starkiller Base is pretty big and has a lot of ground to cover. So I want to thank everyone so much for watching. My name has been I'm the Dude 5. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like this video as well as any others of mine that you may enjoy, including the one I provide on screen. Also, check out my friend Night the Wolf on YouTube. I'll provide a link on screen to his channel. Be sure to like and subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications for my channel and his as well. Also, guys, if there are any Destiny players, subscribe to my channel, primarily on PS4, looking for a great group of people to do raids, Crucible, bounties, Age of Triumph activities, etc., especially before Destiny 2 launches on September 6th. Check out Body No Pants Party Clan. I'll provide a link on screen to our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. And I'll also provide a link in the description to our Facebook page so you can drop us a like, get in touch with one of the admins, and be inducted into the clan straight away. Thank you all so much for watching again, guys, and as always, stay classy. and I will see you all out there in a galaxy far, far away.